just returned from Mozambique with another wonderful team of pastors. They went over to share their hearts, to share their gifts, their talents, their skills with the Bible school students, with the church leadership, and with our missionaries, Ori and Linda Lehman. What a blessing it is to lead a group of men that loved the Lord and fell in love with the country and with the church and with the people.
Mozambique, what can I say about Mozambique? I think for the first time in my life, I got a vision of God. Oftentimes as a small pastor we're so locally focused. And when I get over there, I see that God is not just focused on our local little spots, but He's focused globally, and we need to become not just locally focused, but globally focused.
Mozambique is just an incredible place because of the just fascinating people and people that are so dedicated. One of the students was there last year, his first year at Mozambique. When he went back home to his village, he found out that his brother had torn down his house, had cut down his papaya trees, pulled out all of his cassava plants, and sold all of his goods simply because he had converted from Islam to Christianity. And that's the kind of persecution and kind of sacrifice that many of those students face. And yet, they don't lose any of their joy in serving Christ.
When I initially said I was going to go on this trip, someone said, why go halfway across the world to tell someone about Jesus when we have people here in our community that don't know Him? And I kind of pondered on that question myself, wondering the answer. After being in Mozambique, I now know that its short-term mission trips are vital to the local church, that they take the focus off of ourselves and put them on those that need Jesus. I found myself evangelizing to people that I had never met, but for the first time, telling them about this trip, was able to share Jesus with them, was able to invite them to our local church, even invite them to be a part of giving to this work that's happening there in Mozambique. Short-term mission trips to Mozambique are vital for your local church.
Somebody said last year when I was at Mozambique, these are people who own nothing but have everything. That is so true because they have Christ. And over here in the United States, we have so many possessions and sometimes really lack what we really need, and that is Christ Jesus. And when you see people who have so little of anything of the earthly goods and yet possess so much of God, it just compels us to sacrifice a little bit of what we have so that they can live, so they can go to school.
In John 15, Jesus says, I'm the vine, you are the branches. Jesus also pointed out that He didn't do anything apart from the Lord. And so He always joined the Father in something that the Father was already doing. And I think that's something that we need to take a hold of, especially in our district, especially as our churches, is that we need to align ourselves with stuff that God's doing. And that's how He blesses us. And that's how we walk with Him. And that's how we experience Him. In Mozambique, there is stuff going on. And God is moving, the church is growing. It's an exciting place to be. And one of the things that we learned is the power of all of these different churches being represented and coming together. And it's a table where we can all come to from our different churches, and we can minister in the name of the Lord. And it's a powerful place where we go together and we share funds and we share ministry. And it's amazing to see God work that way.
There might be some of you there that think that, some of you pastors there that think that going on a missions trip is impossible. I used to think that. I would hear Henri come and talk about Mozambique. I'd hear different missionaries talk about short mission trips, and I thought that could never happen to me. But sometimes we lose that God is faithful, and what I found out with this mission trips is the faithfulness of God, the greatness of God.
Initially, when I heard what it would take to go to Mozambique with all of the logistics and the financial resources, it seemed almost impossible. But I think one of the things that I realized after being on this trip is that we serve a great big God that knows our needs, that sees the needs before we do, and engineers circumstances to make these things happen in ways that we couldn't even imagine. I saw funds come in places that I never thought they would. I saw people give that I thought had no interest in giving to missions. And God just continued to work things out to get us there. And I know that He will for you too, if you feel Him tugging at your heart to go to Mozambique.
Them sharing their gifts, their talents, their skill, their passion for the Lord has made an impact in Mozambique. There's 60 students there preparing for ministry. I can't help but think about the old saying that any fool can count the number of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in one seed. When I think about what this team shared in Mozambique with those students that are preparing for full-time ministry, and thinking about the everlasting impact as those 60 go out, as they build their churches, and as new people come, new souls are saved and transformed, and new churches built out of those people that come and find the Lord through those 60 pastors' ministries, how only God can count the number of apples in one seed. Only God will know how many souls are impacted by Indiana Central District through those 4 pastors that went and shared and gave all that they had. Thank you, Indiana Central District, for allowing us to go and be a part of the Lord's work in Mozambique.
Lena